Hi, I'm Tim Picciott, the Liberty Advisors. Most financial commentators are very boring, they're very stuffy, and they want to impress you with their $5,000 suit and fancy title. My main problem with most of these commentators and so-called experts is that most of them couldn't predict their way out of a paper bag, and they've been wrong on almost everything. These guys, they don't want to rock the boat, they don't know anything about Austrionomics, they haven't read Creature from Jekyll Island, and all they do is parrot the same old, boring CNBC talking points. I'm a certified financial planner that woke up to the corruption a long time ago. Okay, so what drives me to be putting out content? I happened to graduate in 2008 and wanted to become a Wall Street analyst, but as it turned out, my timing couldn't have been any worse. The financial system was collapsing, and as it turned out, my first day on the job as a financial advisor was actually the day Lehman Brothers collapsed. Fast forward to 2010 during the depths of the Great Recession, and I found myself talking with someone that looked like the heavy metal singer Rob Zombie, had his hair down to here. And basically, long story short, is he told me that the Federal Reserve is private. I thought this guy was full of crap. He had me watch Freedom to Fascism, which then led me to Creature from Jekyll Island, which then led me to Dr. Ron Paul, which led me to where I am today as a soldier in the liberty movement and information war. The reason I'm so passionate about liberty and the Federal Reserve is that I had a Series 7 stockbroker's license, a Series 66, all of my insurance licenses, was studying for my certified financial planner designation, already had my chartered retirement planning counselor designation, and I had no idea the Federal Reserve was private. But wait, there's more. I was managing my school's endowment fund at the time. We're talking 2007, 2008. I was actually managing the financial stocks. I had the entire financial position allocated to cash before the market melted down. I studied business, finance, and economics from one of the toughest, most selective government indoctrination centers, otherwise known as colleges, in New York, if not the toughest one to get into. I took an entire class on the Federal Reserve. Our saying actually was "In Fed We Trust." My classmates then went on to win the Fed Challenge against schools like Harvard, Yale, and MIT. And here I was, as a child, I even read the entire Encyclopedia Britannica, and here I was getting schooled by a high school grad painter that didn't go to college, who looked like Rob Zombie. And nothing against people that didn't go to college or painters. I think college is a gigantic scam and waste of money. That's a whole nother can of worms. The reason I'm telling you this is because if there was anyone in the world that should have known that the Fed was private, that person should have been me. And I'm not telling you all this to get famous or to get attention. I only started looking into this stuff to prove somebody wrong, and then I ended up discovering that I myself was wrong, and that basically slavery never went away. It only became much more high-tech, and if it wasn't so diabolical, I'd even say genius. With all that said, my why is to live in a world where my kids, your kids, and your grandkids aren't slaves, and I can't think of a better why than that. Now, along the way, I've picked up a pretty good amount of knowledge, and I'm pretty woke on a ton of different subjects, including Austrian economics, financial markets, crypto, geopolitics. And because of my background, I'm able to see the world from a very different perspective than most people. Now, along the way, I've also amassed a pretty impressive track record. I only say this to you because you shouldn't trust some random guy on the internet, and you should always do your own homework. But with that said, here are some of the things that I've accurately predicted and have video proof of. I was on record in 2015 stating that Donald Trump had a very good shot at winning and actually did think that he was going to win. Then not only that in September 2016, I said that when he did win, that the Clintons would then blame it on the Russians. I've got video of that. Then November 2016, I had a fake news list go viral, which got me shadow banned, and that's the whole reason why you probably don't know me right now. But I only listed one person by name. I listed a whole bunch of fake news organizations on there, listed one person by name. That one person was Paul Krugman, and then he ended up winning Donald Trump's fake news award list a year and a half later. Now, fast forward to January 2017, I had a presentation called The Trump Effect and Why Good News was Bad News. Now, the entire premise of this is that Donald Trump winning would make markets go up, especially relative to Hillary. Then the Fed would then lose the excuse not to cut rates, as they did underneath Obama, because there was so much bad news constantly going on that the Fed always had excuses not to raise rates. Well, now they wouldn't have an excuse or to not raise rates. And then what I then went on to say in an October 3rd, 2018 video is that there's no way that the Fed can basically, be on autopilot, that they can do all the things that they're saying that they're going to do. And I'd also mentioned how I bought put options on my client accounts, and that basically, fast forward, a couple of months later, the market was down 20% for the exact reasons I had mentioned, and my clients were little to basically hardly affected at all. Then fast forward to December of 2018, and I predicted that the Fed's next move would be to cut rates. Now, mind you, at this time, there was only a 2% chance of the Fed cutting rates in all of 2019, and that was basically a tinfoil hat type prediction that I was making and was on record for. I also have a lot of Bitcoin and crypto prognostications that have come true, including predicting that Facebook's Libra would resemble the IMF's special drawing right. That's the International Monetary Fund's SDR, or special drawing right. That video was entitled, "Will Facebook's Libra be the new special drawing right?" That prediction only took 1 day to pan out. Oh, and if you don't have no idea what the SDR is, and you're basically just now getting into all this stuff, you would really benefit by hitting that subscribe button or follow icon or whatever they make you do these days. Now, as we wrap up here, realize that I'm leaving out a ton of important information. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to link below a 19-minute video below where you can see all the proof of all these fantastical claims that I made and a few more. And then you can decide for yourself if I'm the real deal or not. And truth be told, the 19-minute version, that leaves a ton of stuff out as well. But thank you for watching. I really appreciate the opportunity to earn your trust and attention. Now, to help us keep in touch, please go ahead and click the subscribe button below. Also, please hit that bell next to it, because apparently being subscribed isn't enough these days. And also make sure to check us out on other platforms like DLive and Picciott. I hope we see you again. And anyways, I'm Picciott, the Liberty Advisor, where my bias is your freedom. Take care.